Hi there! Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Julie Ann Fay, and I'm a certified angel card reader and a professional astrologer. On this channel, I do pick-a-card readings and I chat crystals, astrology, working with the Ascended Masters and the Archangels, and just all things energy, wheel of the year, new and full moon cycles. I love to do pick-a-card videos at the new and full moon, and I always share them with my email newsletter. So if you are seeing this from my email newsletter, welcome, welcome. If you're brand new to my channel, if you found me from some other means, welcome, welcome. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'm recording this for you close to the end of 2020, and we are approaching a gorgeous full moon in Cancer, which will be a wonderful final full moon for the end of the year, in which we can really dial into self-care, compassion, and self-love to close out the year. This is a wonderful time for doing a lot of witnessing work, or a lot of releasing work as well, about things that maybe came to pass or did not come to pass in this year. I know that was a big theme in my Fearlessly Fairy group, where I do it's a membership group where I do weekly content for my members. So hello, Fearlessly Fairy members and Astro Fairy members. And yeah, I know I myself have been sort of in my own unique rhythm with the end of this year. Certain things that I thought I was going to be doing, I'm not doing, and then I'm doing other things. And it's just been a lot of surrender for me. And I do think that's based on some things in my astrological chart, but also we are still closing out the cycle of the eclipse season that we just went through with the, new moon in Sagittarius. So that will close out once we officially get to this full moon in Cancer, and we're closing out that cycle. So there's still some mutable energy from that new moon in Sag with the eclipse that's still kind of shaking itself and processing itself out. And I think that we'll start to really shift away from that once we go into this full moon in Cancer, because that's a cardinal sign. And then, of course, we're in Capricorn season, which is also a cardinal sign. So things are going to start to get more focused on initiating energy. And then, of course, we've got a ton of energy now in Aquarius. So that's a fixed sign, which is about concentrating the energy and kind of processing it through. So good stuff. Let me show you guys which decks I'm using. So I've got the Good Witch Tarot. I actually don't know. I have to get the name. Yes, I think this is by Deborah Blake. The Good Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake. I've got the Queen of the Moon Oracle cards by Stacey DeMarco. I've got the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. Going real old school tonight, and I've got Healing with the Fairies by DB, and then Heal Yourself reading cards by Ina Segal. Okay, so those are the decks that I'm using. I'm gonna queue up the piles for you and then be right back. I do also have my singing bowl. We'll just do a quick little tune in. It's not really singing too loud for me tonight. I'm gonna leave this as well for the individual piles. And as I feel called, I may work with that again. I want to do a shout out to a couple new things. So the Yule sale is over because we're now past Christmas, and that ran for almost 25 days. I had it running. That was a great sale that I did on my Etsy shop, which is new. If you're new to my channel, definitely head over to my Etsy when you have a moment and give that shop a favorite so you can stay up to date when I do sales and when I put up new listings. And I will have some special things coming out which are not yet up on my Etsy shop as of the time of this recording, but will be within the coming week to 2 weeks. Definitely by the next email newsletter in early January, I'll have them up. One of them is a planetary shift reading. So that's where I will go into your astrological chart and advise you on Jupiter and Saturn now in Aquarius. It's a mini astrological reading. So sometimes I do these. I have another one that's an asteroid goddess reading. This is when I look at your chart and I just within the context of one particular theme give you advice. So it's often a really great way to kind of get a foot in the door with getting professional advice on your natal chart, because it's not a full-blown reading. But it's also a great way to just kind of get clued into what's going on with a specific area. And the asteroid goddess reading that I do is really popular, and I really want to start helping people with understanding this Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius cycle we're in, which will be in effect with Jupiter and Aquarius all of 2021, and then with Saturn and Aquarius we're looking at 2 to 3 years, so it will hold its value. So I've got that coming up, and then also I have something very special, which is a PDF that I've created with some year-end / year-ahead spreads that you can do on your own time, and that will be under my spiritual curriculums for sale at a really affordable price on my Etsy shop as well, and that will also be given for free to my Fearlessly Fairy and Astro Fairy members to thank them for their membership this year. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And of course, signing up for my email newsletters, julieannfaye.com, is the best way to stay up to date with all of the new things that are coming out, because I also do a ton of blogging. I'm a really active spiritual writer, spiritual blogging writer. So that's how you'd say it. So I always, release updates in the email newsletters about all the latest of things. So I recommend people sign up for those. So with that being said, I'm going to pause and set up 3 piles and BRB. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to pick which pile that you would like to receive messages from. And I want to just invite you to take a moment to center yourself. It's always best to pick your pile when you yourself are more grounded and you can feel like you're more centered and in alignment with your higher self. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to also practice using your intuition. Okay, so I also should mention that before I start a pick a card reading, I always set up a sacred container, clearing negative energy and shielding, and it's always my intention to be a channel for messages of love, truth, healing, and peace that you most need to hear. So know that this is a sacred container of love and light, so it's always intended to provide nurturing and support and wisdom from a very loving, angelically supported perspective, okay? So I invite you to take 3 deep breaths, so let's do that together. One. All right, so these are the 3 piles. They're all going to look the same from the back, okay? So don't be choosing based on how they look. Be choosing based on their energetic frequency. So for some people, I'm extremely clairsentient, so it's always through feeling. I'm also clairaudient, and my clairvoyance has been developing a lot as well lately too. So some people might feel it energetically. Other people might kind of see it circled in their third eye. Other people might just have this sense, this deep knowing, like, yes, it's that one, okay? So, and I always get to look at the cards at the same time you guys do, so I try my best not to peek when I'm showing them to you and to be equally surprised. So this is pile 1. All right, so that is pile 1. Pile 2. And then pile 3. And I'm going to hold them all up so you can take a peek. And I always do my pick a card readings to correspond with a newer full moon cycle. So this is in effect for 2 weeks. However, if you stumble upon this at another date, they're always timeless. Energy has no time and space. So it's perfect for you to hear this message. I myself go back into readings that I've done, re-listen to them. I use my intuition to pick when. Sometimes I intuitively scroll to stop at a place where I need to hear something. There is no, forced formula is a good way to put it for how you can utilize a pick a card reading. You can pick a card reading from like a year ago, and it's all based on what's energetically matching to you at that time. Likewise, you can come back to this reading and you could pick a different pile because energetically there's a different message you need to hear at that time, okay? So it's very fluid is another way to say that. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, okay? Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. All right, so with that, let's get started. I'm gonna start with pile 1, so you can use the timestamps to navigate to where you need to go, and I'll see you at your pile pick. All right, so pile number 1, peeps, these are the cards for you. Let's see what we've got. And I may be pulling some supplemental cards as I feel called. Okay. So I see you guys, gonna take it, this is not wine, it's actually pomegranate soda with like club soda, just sparkling. I made my own version of like a sparkling non-alcoholic wine drink, if you will. So I see you guys having a bit of duality energy right now because you have letting go, okay? And you do have this card, befriending pain, which says, when discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. And then you have honoring your true feelings, okay? So there is this energy here. We can really see it with this card. Potentially you guys are just processing a lot of emotions, you know? There might be a lot of healing that you're going through right now. There might be things that you're feeling. We can see that in this card, she's sitting on this tree, but there's this waterfall going in the background, and she's kind of like almost like crafting or knitting something in her hand. So she's a little bit between 2 worlds right now. Partially, she's trying to get grounded and get rooted in the earth, but then also in the background of this whole story, she is processing a lot of emotions. Now, running water can also indicate just the movement of energy. So it's possible that energy is moving for you, but it's a little bit behind the scenes right now because she's in the front of the waterfall, so she can't really see that. And you guys might be just kind of busying yourself with some things while this kind of dichotomy is like going on, you know? And with the letting go card here, this is card number 26, which sums to an 8, which is about the flow of energy, you know, infinity. Usually I would say that the energy of 6 is more about giving and receiving, but I'm getting the sense with you guys this was giving and receiving. So, you know, there might be something in your life that's either not come to pass or just energetically you did invest a lot of time and energy in, and you've realized that you have to move on from it now. We can see these kind of figures in the back that are, you know, very much kind of like a little bit like Grim Reaper characters in a way, right? And they're just signifying, you know, this energy related to endings and beginnings, you know, like the Death card in Tarot, which is all about transition and rebirth. So I think, but she's walking away from them now. It's like she understands that whatever that was, it's no longer good for her, and then it had to die and kind of go away. And she's already walked away from it, but she's just processing her feelings about it now. And I think somewhat you thought that this would be something that would be very abundant for you, and it hasn't been. So you're just processing a lot about that, you know? And I want to do a quick shout out to, so my nails are using Rocks Polish. Right now I'm wearing actually Danburite, which is this sparkly kind of, you can see it, this like sparkly silver one. And then this is a rose quartz with selenite. They're actually crystal infused nail polish. So love her. I actually have a coupon code you can shop her Etsy shop with, and that's in my Julianne Faye's Eco Fairy Guide if you just want to check that out. And then you guys have befriending pain. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. So I think there's part of you, so there's going to be some, I feel like there's some different messages for different people with this pile, okay? But I know this is a little bit somber, but I want to assure you that things are going to get better because you have blossoming here, which is a beautiful card. And we can see that there's actually a full moon, you know, in the background. So I think that this upcoming full moon is going to initiate a new 2-week cycle for you that is more open, that is more flowing and receptive to good things. And you guys also have the star, right, which is about hope and optimism and, you know, just encouragement for the future, believing that things are going to get better. I'm really actually drawn also to the little cat on this card who's looking at the koi, right? And I think that's what they are, koi. So this is just saying, like, there are people that have your back that are watching out for you to assure you that you will recoup whatever has been lost and that you will be abundant and prosperous. I think it's just, you're in a phase right now, just in this moment, and I get the sense that it's actually pretty short term. Like, this is not really a long-term phase, but you're in a phase right now where it's like you are doing a little bit of soul searching and a little bit of reflecting. And I do think that there might have been something recently which you thought would have been good for you, but you realized it would not, you know, and you've had to kind of walk away from it or say no to it. And you're just processing a lot of feelings about that. Now, I think that's the message for those of you that are aware of what this is and are kind of doing the work to surrender and to just allow these feelings to kind of move and run through you. I think there's a portion of you that might be doing a little bit of keeping yourself busy so that you don't feel your feelings, right? Which is a very, very easy thing to do during Sagittarius season in particular and the holiday season, but especially during Sag season, because Sagittarius doesn't necessarily like to look at the darker feelings, right? For Sagittarius, Scorpio is their 12th house by solar method, so they're not always ready and willing to look at that kind of Scorpio energy because it's in their 12th house, which is the house of the unseen and the subconscious. So during Sagittarius season, we find a lot of people are like, aha, like happy-go-lucky, right? And life is not always happy-go-lucky. There's pains in life, you know, there's ups and downs, there's challenges that we go through. And, you know, life is both happy and enlightening and expansive, as well as constrictive and oftentimes, you know, suppressive and difficult. So I think that there's a small percentage of you watching this that maybe have been really busying yourself, because I just see her so busying yourself so much that you've been like not allowing yourself to process feelings that maybe are there from recent events or things that you're currently going through. And this is just a nudge to say that it's okay for you to sit with those feelings. You don't have to be busy all the time. And I think that that's actually a common thing, that when we go from Sagittarius season to Capricorn season, things get a little bit more somber because things slow down, right? And we are kind of forced to look at those things. So this pile is just assuring for the people that picked it or are just intuitively scrolled and are hearing this message right now, that it's okay for you to be processing these, you know, feelings that might be a little bit uncomfortable or painful. And it says, when discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. So, you know, it's like, instead of letting these feelings kind of gnaw at you in the background, how about we just let them come to the forefront of our hearts, let ourselves process them, maybe have a cry about it, or, you know, have a safe rage about it, punch a pillow, or just kind of do a primal scream about it and purge those feelings, and then honor them for what they are. And then that will actually free you to move through them, you know? So in other words, don't be afraid of the feelings that you have, you know, because the feelings are just information. It's just layers of you that are processing and shedding. And I'm going to pull another card from Healing with the Fairies for you guys. And I think that it's all good, you know, especially with the star here and blossoming. Everything's going to be okay. Whatever it is that you might be upset or worried or stressing about, it's going to be okay. This is assurance that, you know, things are going to improve. I think it's just a little bit of a waiting game period right now. And there's almost, in a sense, the fact that it is a waiting game period, this is actually allowing you to really be comfortable with what you have going on in the now, the feelings you have to process in the now, and really just practicing being in the present moment with your feelings, and whatever is coming up for you is, I think, your lesson right now, you know. So you guys, oh my God, you guys, you be honest with yourself, okay? And then you have magic of nature and visualization. I'm so glad I felt called to work with this deck tonight. It's really doing justice. So I'm wondering too if there's something here where for me, this is confirmation of what you're going through, and this is part of the medicine that you can work to help you move through it. So I think for you guys, with this, be honest with yourself, this thing that you're upset about, or maybe you're kind of like pining after in some way, whether this is like an old relationship or maybe a job that didn't come to pass or something here that just didn't work out. I'm wondering if you put yourself in the situation of having had that job or still being with that relationship, do you honestly feel like for the vibrational frequency that you are now, the person you are now who's grown and kind of shifted and moved on from being attracted to that in the past, would that still fulfill you? Would it still work for you as you are now? Oftentimes we're mourning our connection to almost like an old version of ourselves, or the old life we lived with that person, place, or thing. And that's actually what we're longing for. But if we were to be kind of married to, I mean, it could be literally, but if we were to be married to or energetically aligned with that person, place, or thing in our now reality, where our vibration is different and we are a different version of ourselves than we were then, you might like not even vibe with it at all. So I think that's an important message for you guys, and that might be a little bit of like a moment of clarity for you of, you know, do you even want this thing that you're saying like, oh, I wish I had? You know, maybe you don't, but you just get very caught up in that, like, you know, thinking about the past and kind of like mourning about the past energy, you know. So I think this is a time for you guys to just get centered in your feelings and releasing those old stuck feelings, and just being really authentic and honest with yourself of like, who am I now and what is it that I want to attract now? And I think that's why you have visualization here with, you know, magic of nature. This is a tip for you guys to get outside more, okay? Connect with the energy of the Fae, which are really wonderful beings for teaching us about, elemental beings for teaching us about self-confidence and manifestation. A great way to work with the fairies too is, you know, to invite in how you can protect animals and the earth and the environment. I did write a blog post earlier in December, but would be really relevant for you guys to go back and check out, which was the fairy way to play this holiday, where I give some fairy approved tips about how to work the energy of, you know, this season. So I also will have one coming out around New Year's Day. I think it's actually on New Year's Day. That's also fairy approved tips, but specifically within the winter season. So you might want to check those out, you know, for how to embrace all these different combinations of energy. And then visualization. So getting clear on like, okay, I don't know if I actually even want that thing that I'm pining after. So now what is it that I do want? So doing some intention setting on the type of person that you want to bring in, the job you want to bring in, the colleagues you want to be around. So there's a little bit of a need for you guys to do some clearing and releasing work, and then to do some inviting work, some intention setting work, and just rest assured that you're going to be able to move through these feelings. I get the sense this is kind of a temporary phase you guys are in. All right, so I'm sending you guys so much love, pile one. Please give this video a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know how that related to you personally. I always love hearing from people with, you know, the way that they relate to the readings. And I am sending you guys so much love and light and fairy kisses. And talk to you soon. Okay, pile 2 peeps. These are the cards for you. Let's see what we've got. I want to say also, before I get fully into these cards, this particular pile, when I was pulling for them, there was a lot of mutable, what I would call mutable mess energy. So a lot of jumping cards, a lot of cards that were trying to come out in like huge lumps or not at all. So you guys might be going through a bit of like disconnected energy at times, where sometimes it's like the energy feels like it's not flowing for you, but then other times it's like the energy's flowing so fast and furious. So there's a little bit of like an inconsistent energy flow for the people that pick this pile, where you are not always like carefully calibrated to like one thing. I get the sense that it's like either it's very quiet or there's like a lot going on. It's like one or the other, but not really a consistent stream, you know? So let's see what we've got here in the cards, okay? So we can see this here with 7 of Cups, which is kind of what I was talking about, which is like a little bit of all over the place energy, okay? So lots of choices, lots of different things, and this is not focusing, is it? I'm just gonna hold it back here, okay? But lots of different choices, okay? Lots of different cups that you could be putting energy and attention into. And I think for some of you guys, this might relate to relationships, because we do have 2 of Cups here. Now, if you're not looking for a romantic relationship, or you're kind of like, meh, that doesn't really apply to me, this could be for you with other types of relationships in our life, like a new job, or potentially looking for a new apartment or a new house, okay? Something that you want to sync up with and align with. I think that you guys are doing almost like shopping right now within that particular subject area of your life, okay? And there might be something here where either you yourself are very unimpressed with what's come across your path so far, or there might have been something which you were really into and it didn't work out with this rejection card here. You know, just saying that like there's some part of this that's like, oh, I thought I had that figured out. I thought it was that, or I thought I wanted that, but that didn't quite work out, you know? And we have, this is such a good card, okay? When I started working with these, this deck is not really an oracle deck, and it's not a tarot deck either, and it's definitely not an angel card deck. It's kind of like an affirmation deck, but it also does function like an oracle. It's kind of like an affirmation oracle. It's pretty cool. But it says acknowledging apprehension, and it says when it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no, okay? And this is just like a really powerful card, because it's basically saying that, well, I'm going to come back to that in a second, because I'm going to move on with these 2 cards, but there's a message there I want to express. We have positive expectations and then self-love, but in reverse, okay? So it's interesting. This pile definitely has some mirroring energy to pile 1, but it's a little bit like more layered or more specific than what pile 1 had. But if you were also drawn to pile 1, definitely go and check that out. But for you guys, it's like the medicine for you to heal and move through this energy within this new 2-week cycle is around really just aligning yourself with loving thoughts, loving energies, self-care, and just reminding yourself that it can get better, that you are figuring this out. So definitely some affirmations work could be really good for you guys, but just assuring yourself that, assuring yourself that you are going to figure this out. You're going to make it through this, you know, so there's a need here for some more love and care towards yourself, not beating yourself up about this potential rejection you went through, or this like mismatching of energies, and just really trying to raise your vibes so you can align with more positive expectations. So putting yourself in this more higher vibe state, you know, and through acts of self-love will help you get to the higher vibe state. It's going to help you to start to align with things with more ease and flow, and clarity, I think, is also what you're seeking. Let me do a, let's pull from this deck for a little bit extra here for pile 2 peeps. Pile 2 peeps, clarification card here. Okay, so we've got parenting and children. Let's get one more with this. And we've got making new friends. How sweet. This does not want to focus, does it? Nothing wants to focus tonight. Or, hey, you guys had that a bit, a message here. Nothing wants to focus. I almost feel like that's part of your message, that there's part of you that feels a little bit like, what the heck, a little forlorn because you thought that certain things were going to align, but they didn't. And I think part of this is that I think that your energy when you were trying to manifest this thing was a little bit maybe fragmented or scattered, okay? And it might be that you were just in more of like a stress state because you do have, you know, you did have self-love over here in reverse. I feel like the positive expectations card is just reflecting the fact that you feel a little burned from this thing you went through. And this is assuring you that the more you can focus on self-love and raising your vibe, the better it's going to get. But I think that you guys might have been a little bit like pulled in many directions at the time you were trying to manifest this. And it didn't work out, possibly because you two, whether that was a potential dating partner or a relationship or a job or something, you two just weren't syncing up properly. It might have just been like not the right timing here, where it's like you were too scattered. Maybe they couldn't see you clearly for who you are, and you're kind of sad about that a bit. But I think that, to be honest, I think that you guys also might have had a couple reservations about this person, place, or thing with this acknowledging apprehension. So part of it might have been that, yes, maybe it was bad timing or there was something about it that wasn't quite right. But I think also underneath that, it's almost like it wasn't meant for you, you know? So although it feels frustrating that it didn't work out, it's also like, there's something there that's not clicking, that's not sinking into place properly. And I think that you yourself might have had a little bit of that, like, I don't know, you were trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, or you were trying to like look for the good. This positive expectations card could also be saying that maybe you were overly positive or overly optimistic about them and what they could pull through and do. And you really kind of learned that, like, you know what, no, they're not, like, they don't have their act together. Or, you know, let's say, for example, it was an apartment or a house or something, and you thought that this was like the exact perfect new place for you, but then, and you felt so good about it, but then like your offer that you put in didn't go through, but then you learn later that, wow, it actually had lots of plumbing issues and that would have cost me a lot of money, or this or that. So there might have been part of you that was a little bit unsure about it. And I do think that that uncertainty fed into the dynamic, and that's why you guys didn't sync up properly. But your uncertainty was based on good reason, because, you know, this is saying, I'm going to read it again because it's so powerful. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. And I would add to that, it's can be a no, not right now, right? So sometimes our uncertainty is just because we know that we're drawn to do it or to do something with it, but it's not the right timing. Timing is everything in manifestation, okay? It's aligning the right vibrations. So I feel like you guys are kind of, you're doing a little bit of licking your wounds from that thing of what that was. And this thing might have been something that possibly was in some way related to impacting you with your relationship with your kids or your fur babies in some type of way. If it's a dating partner or a relationship, maybe like, you know, there was something there where it didn't work out, that you have different types of pets that don't get along, or maybe this thing would have taken you away from time with your kiddos or something there, and that's why you had uncertainty. But I think that you guys are moving into a phase where really your work right now is on just raising your vibe and kind of raising your vibe and like acknowledging, yes, that sucked, but then allowing yourself to kind of cut ties to it and move on. Because I see you guys manifesting so many more other types of opportunities that actually do support you for your lifestyle and the responsibilities you have in your life. And then also that just invite in new friendships and that actually feel really playful and really good. I think that that thing that you were thinking was right for you maybe wouldn't have been supportive to you for what you already have going on in your life. And I don't know if it would have opened you up to like new situations and new energies as much as you think it would have. And right now your medicine is really a lot around just really working on getting this upright, you know, so a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care, and also just raising your vibration so you can expect good things. You can align with this better thing that's lining up for you. And I think if you could do that over the next 2 weeks, then you'll be like perfect, you know, perfectly suited to align with this new thing that's coming that's more right for you. I'm going to pull another card. I'm going to pull from my Good Witch Tarot here, just to kind of bring this home. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I want to do Astro Dice for you guys. Again, there's this really strong energy with this pile about changing your mind a lot, you know, with like the 7 of Cups. So I think you guys are still figuring this out, you know. All right, we've got Saturn in Libra in the 2nd. Okay, so yeah, Saturn in Libra. So there's work to do here on indecisiveness, okay, and also relationship work as well, working on balancing your life as well. Are there, you know, what parts of your life are really out of balance? And with the 2nd house here, this is the house ruled by Taurus. So this is housing, material assets, money. Okay, so I think that, yeah, for you guys, I think that this was a lot. I mean, it could be all 3 things that I was channeling: housing, career / jobs, and relationships. There's many people that could be interpreting this, you know, this is a general reading, so there's going to be different groups of people that align with different parts of that. But I think that you guys were wanting to align with something that you thought would be like a balanced, equal match for you, but it was blocked to you, you know, with this, or sorry, that is not Saturn. I had it upside down. That's actually Jupiter. So I feel like that's actually part of the message, is that it looked one way, like, oh, I'm blocked, you know. How interesting was that, right? That I was reading it upside down. So it looked one way, like, whoa, I think I want this, but it was kind of an illusion and you were blocked to it, seemingly so. But it was actually a blessing in disguise, because Jupiter provides blessings. So yeah, you guys have lots of shifting and tricky energy going on in your life, but you are moving towards things that are better for you, even if you're still a little bit like wounded or sore from things that you thought were going to be good for you but didn't work out. Okay, so your message is really around just acknowledging that it's okay to feel the feelings that you felt at that time where you did think it was really good, but ultimately the fact that it didn't align, that it didn't work out, was actually a blessing in disguise, because you're moving to things that are much clearer for you. And part of what you can do to assure yourself lining up with that is to work on just loving yourself hard for the next 2 weeks and raising your vibe. So taking time every day to do things that align you, that improve your life, that give you that self-care. And I think this new thing that you're aligning with, whether this you're relating to this for housing or relationship or career or maybe all 3, I think this new thing you're aligning with is going to support you and align with you in multiple life areas. I think it's going to open your mind. It's going to be very intellectually stimulating. It's going to bring you into connection with people that you might even consider friends. And I think it's also going to support you for the responsibilities and the things you already have going on in your life that already, before any of this and after this, still and always will need your time and attention. Okay, so like I said, there was a lot of layers to this reading, so please go back and re-listen to this as you feel called. And, you know, I'd love to see you guys just really working on self-love and alignment so that you can get more clear and align with the right thing at the right time, because there's a lot of like all over the place kind of unfocused energy with this pile. Okay, so please give this video a like, leave a comment below, let me know who you related to that reading. I always love reading and hearing that. And subscribe to this channel if you'd like to do so. And if you guys always, I have a donate button down there as well. If you feel called to donate, that always helps me so much. It helps support a small business, and you know, it means so much to me when people donate, so feel free to use that as well. That's my PayPal link down in the description. Okay, pile number 3, peeps. These are the cards for you. Let's get into it. I'm telling you, all three piles from this pick a card have had interesting mix and match elements where they share a lot in common. So I'm going to say what I said for pile 2 as well. If you were drawn to more than one pile, please also feel called to go back and listen to that pile, mix and match different messages, because there may be something where you also need to receive from pile 1 or 2 if you were also drawn to them. And yeah, it's just funny. There's a lot of common energy going on between these three piles. So we have vacation and allow myself to be content exactly as I am, discovering happiness. Okay. So I know I've been going through this a lot, this type of energy. I'm going to explain what I mean with it. This is not really focusing too well, is it? I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, discovering happiness. Also, I did do a shout out to this in one of the other piles, but my nail polish is by Rox Polish, which is a crystal infused nail polish company. She's another small business owner like myself. If you're interested in getting her nail polish, I do have a coupon code that's in my Julianne Faye's Eco Fairy Guide, which is linked in the description of this video. And right now I'm wearing the Danburite nail polish with the selenite and rose quartz one. So love, love, love her nail polish so much. So with these cards here, vacation, and I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, like I was saying, and then you have there is no problem, only destiny being revealed, welcoming surrender. I was just talking to one of my dear friends about this last night, actually, that right now, with it being the end of the year and the final kind of couple weeks of the year here, it's typically a time in which a lot of things shut down, right? Businesses close, people just kind of hermit themselves more, you know, and things slow down. Things are closed, not as much, you know, is operating, especially when it comes to like a lot of communication tends to slow down, which, you know, again, we enter Capricorn season and that is where we kind of slow down as well. So, but especially with, as we are in like the final 2 weeks of the year, a lot of people go on holiday break then and they don't answer emails. They don't, you know, they're not participating in things that they normally would be doing. So this can be a time where it's like a little bit eerily quiet, especially if you're someone like me who likes a lot of forward motion and a lot of activity and a lot of energy to work with and process. So it can be a time in which we have to accept that things have slowed down as a result of the holiday season here, you know, and just surrender to what that is offering us right now and what it's trying to teach us, you know. And with this allow myself to be content exactly as I am, there could be this sense of restlessness and frustration about not having, you know, not having the answers or the money or the resources to do things you want to do and being anxious to receive those things, you know. And this is saying that in many regards, you don't have control over some aspects of this. You don't have control over when people get back to you right now, or when maybe you receive that check or things like that, right? I know even with the stimulus checks that they're negotiating how much money it's going to be. That's like very undecided. And then of course they're kind of on holiday break themselves. So there's a lot of uncertainty about when that support's going to come out. And, you know, a lot of us really need that support. So I think there's a lot of energy right now that's kind of like in this holding pattern. It's a little bit up in the air. And at times you're feeling very frustrated about that because you'd really like more clarity right now. You'd really like more support right now. But with these cards here, welcoming surrender, and I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, it's saying that you have to just, you know, release the things that you can't control and honor what it is that you can do in the now. I know for myself, I've been going through this energy quite heavily myself, and I've had to really, because I was going through some energy gaining momentum in one life area, and then that's kind of come to a stop, just temporarily. But that's, you know, painful when you're kind of putting energy in something and then out of things out of your control, it comes to a stop for 2 weeks or so or more. So as a result, though, of that area stopping, I had to kind of process my feelings around that and then just say, okay, well, that's not working out. So what could I do instead? And I've actually been doing a ton of blog writing, you know, so most people that know me or have been following me for a while know that I'm a really active writer on my spiritual blog. And you know, normally I write at least 1 post a week. In some weeks I can do 2 blog posts a week. So I've just been taking more of this surrender time to really do writing and get far ahead with scheduling my blog posts out. So that's been so good, right? So that's like a perfect example of how you can embrace this type of energy. You know, it's saying like, you might not be getting exactly what you want in the form that you want, but there are elements of the situation that are out of your control and are just, you're just going to have to kind of surrender to the divine timing and the process of what's best here. So really asking yourself, what can I do to realign with what makes me feel good? You have inner child here, you know, and you have balance, right? So what can you do right now that makes you feel more uplifted, more happy, more connected to your inner child? Could you do some, you know, crafting or painting or cooking? Like, what could you do that just makes you feel more aligned with your inner child right now? And I mean, for me, writing is that as well, because I love putting it together and using the GIFs and the emojis. I know some people find me from Sage App, so hello if you found me from Sage App. I also always encourage people though to read the articles on my blog post, because that's where they get lit up with like the artistry of GIFs and emojis and like all these clever things that I can do there that I can't always do when they get, you know, shared on the app. But yeah, so really looking at ways you can support your inner child right now from how it wants to express itself, right? And then also balance here. This could be a time for you to kind of realign your energies. Obviously, there's certain things that you'd like to have in your life that would make you feel more balanced, right? Like if it's more support, more financial support, or other things that you're looking for. But there's other ways that we can bring in balance. So looking at your schedule, your eating habits, your sleeping habits, what there is out of alignment that could be worked on to be aligned, you know. Maybe this is also like you've been working really hard and you need to now embrace this time for your inner child and balancing your inner child's needs. I would argue though that like we should be doing that all year round, but you know, I think for most people listening to this message, it's a lot about this openness and this uncertainty, this space within the holidays, within this holiday break that a lot of people are on, in which you don't have the support or clarity that you are really needing and wanting. So you're having to figure out what to do with yourself with this energy. I think that's the majority of people with this pile. For some people, it could be that you have been working really solidly, really hard, and you are trying to figure out, okay, this feels weird. How do I deal with this energy, you know? And then we have trust here, and this is in reverse. Okay, so, and we have trust and we have King of Pentacles. So I think, again, for those of you, I feel many people watching this, I know I'm relating to this, you know, there's a need here to surrender to the timing at which things are aligning and working out, and to trust that you are going to be supported for your needs. Things are going to improve for you financially and in terms of feeling more secure. But right now, you need to just work on surrender and trust are like your two biggest things right now, because you have to just accept the fact that certain aspects of this situation are out of your control, you know, and like I said, you can't control the timing in which people come back to you, or you can't control kind of like the government things and when they decide to do certain things, right? I'm going to roll some Astro Dice here to kind of bring this home. We've got a lot of Libra energy. So I pulled some Libra energy with last piles too. We've got, you know, Venus here. Okay. Venus in the 5th and Libra. So Venus is about relationships. It's also about money. 5th house is about Leo, but it's also about creativity and entrepreneurship. And then Libra is, of course, Venus ruled, and that's also about relationships and also artistry. So there's a lot of energy here about focusing on what you can create, what beauty you can bring in. The 5th house is also, you know, being Leo ruled. It's like with the sun. So that is a very creative house, right? So there's just an encouragement here to use this time to possibly indulge in some art making and crafting and creating of things. Getting creative, you know, will help distract you, but in a positive and nourishing way. It will distract you, because I don't even want to use the word distract. It's more like if you use this time to get creative, it's going to put you in a good mood. It's going to make you feel better because you are bringing things into physical form, which is what you're really wanting, right? So I think it's just getting you in alignment with that energy of like creating and things becoming more physical and more real, which is something that you want to manifest more. And in the process, I think it's just going to help you in a good way to be putting energy into things that you can create, do, and in a sense control, to help you with releasing the fears and the frustrations around the timing of other things and how they may or may not be working out, you know, in the timing that you want. And I think in that process, it's going to help you because you're going to be like, wow, I did this painting, or I did this thing. And, you know, for me, like I said, with the blog post writing, wow, I did this. And I feel so good now that I completed that. I completed something that feels so good. And wow, time's actually moving faster now that I'm pouring myself into some kind of some creative and artistic things, you know. I think it's going to help you with flowing better in the process of what's going on here. So love that for you guys. So I'm sending you love, pile 3. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know how you resonated with that message. Give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel if you feel called to do so. Also, there is a donation link in the description box. You can always head over to that and drop a donation there to my PayPal. That supports my spiritual business so much. And of course, check out my blog where I'll have lots more coming, and sign up for my email newsletters, all the things. So I'm sending you guys fairy kisses, and make sure you go back to the beginning of this video. I go over a couple announcements about my Etsy shop and a little bit of the energy with this, you know, full moon in Cancer. So you can check that out if you did advance to the end of this video just to listen to your pile 3 reading. All right. Much love, you guys. Bye.